Ready? Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Roll call from right to left.
Joan Geisman.
Michael Lustrina.
Rose Aletta.
Jack Sterry.
Bob Casati. Kurt Peterson.
Okay, tonight there's a total of 5, right? 5? 6. So we will not be seating any alternates. A motion to accept the agenda.
So moved, Jack Sterry.
Second, Bob Casati.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Reading of legal notice and explanation of procedure. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded, so we ask that everyone speak slowly and clearly for the audio to catch up. The applicant will be given a chance to explain their application and reason for legal hardship. The ZBA members will be given a chance to ask questions of the applicant, and the chair will accept comments and questions from the public prior to the closing of the public hearing. Once the applicant has presented justification for the application and public comments has ended, the board may close the public hearing. Once the public hearing is closed, no other information may be presented to the board from the applicant, the public, or the zoning enforcement officer. At that time, the board members may choose to discuss the issue raised by the application. The ZBA is allowed 65 days from the close of the public hearing to make a decision. However, the ZBA may choose to vote on the application at the close of the public hearing and any board discussion. For an application for a variance to be approved, there must be 4 votes in favor of the application. Variance requests denied by the ZBA may not be heard for another 6 months. Application 21-03, 65 Great Hill Road, request for a variance to zoning regulations, table 4.2.1, to locate the front right corner of a 16 by 24 foot workshop/barn, 17 feet from the side yard where 25 feet is required, and the back right corner 21 feet from the side yard where 25 feet is required. Application and property of Curtis and Stephanie Tatro, assessors map 62, lot 7, zone RR. The board has received the application from Stephanie and Curtis Tatro, a explanation of the hardship dated May 3rd, 2022, a sketch dated May 3rd, 2022, a picture of the workshop. We have 1, 2, 4, 5 pictures, 6 pictures of the site. And then we have a aerial photography photo dated May 3rd, 2022. And we have a letter from Chatham Health District dated May 12th, 2022. So I just need the motion to open the public hearing.
So moved, Jack Sterry.
Second, Michael Lustrina.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public hearing is open. So at this time, I'll ask either Stephanie or Curtis Tatro to step forward and do a brief explanation of what you're doing and what your hardship is. Just an overview.
Is it? Thanks, Dave. Hello? Can you get, oh, there we go.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm obviously Stephanie. We asked for the variance because after looking at the entire yard and trying to find an ideal location for the workshop that we would like to put in, this particular spot in our yard seems to be the most viable. We during the pandemic, our septic system failed, and we had to put in an entire new septic tank and a leach field. And so we're trying to be mindful of not being too close to either the leach field or the tank. We also looked at the required setbacks from both the side yard and the backyard. And if we had asked for a variance to put the workshop in the back of the yard behind the leach field, almost the entire building would have been within the setback zone, and it would have been a significantly larger variance that we would have had to request. With the variance that we are asking for now, I could not find with absolute certainty where the property line was, because we only have one pipe at the front of the lot, and there's not one in the back corner. So I downloaded 3 different apps to my phone that show property lines. That's one of the pictures that you have in your package. And then I stood with my phone where it said I was on the property line, and then I measured from the property line to where we are proposing to put our workshop. And by our measurements, we really will be, the front right corner really will be, by my measurements, 22 feet. So it's really only a 3-foot variance. But we asked for a larger variance to protect and to make sure that in case we didn't measure correctly. So we're trying to utilize a space in our yard that is flat, does not interfere with the septic tank or with the leach field. It also doesn't interfere with the underground sprinkler system that we have. We were also trying to, I wasn't sure if there was a requirement as to how far we had to be from the in-ground pool. So we were trying to be a respectable distance from that as well. Being mindful the entire time of where we believe the right-hand property line is. We also talked to our neighbors on that side, and we explained to them what we were trying to do, and they were completely in favor of it. They think that it's a great idea. They don't have any issues or any concerns with where we're hoping to put the workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? None?
I went out there and inspected the property, and I think, from my point of view, I think it's a good spot. It fits well with the neighborhood or next door neighbor.
I was lucky enough to have Jack and Bob come visit me on the same day.
Same day.
What is this circle thing on your aerial?
Can I come look at it?
That's between the two properties?
That's where I was standing when so that's where I was relative to where I think the property line is. So I was trying to indicate to show you that I was standing on the property line.
Okay. Any questions?
I noticed, this is Joan speaking, that the Chatham Health District stated that you could move this building to within 5 feet of the leach field if you didn't construct a building with a full wall and frost protected footings. Is this building going to be frost protected footings and full walls?
No, our plan is to put the building on a packed gravel base, so we're not a concrete base.
So you could move the building 5 feet from where you are proposing, and that might take it within the boundary that are required?
We could move it 5 feet back and it would be closer to the leach field. But if we move it 5 feet into the yard, it will then, because of the digging that has to be done to pour the, or not to pour, but to lay the gravel foundation, they would interrupt they would sever the lines that go to the underground sprinkler system. So we were hoping to be able to avoid that. Nope.
It's a new leach field. It was very expensive. So we'd really like to make sure we're not in any way coming close to the leach field and have any sort of impact on the leach field. Because it was an extremely large bill to redig last year, or 2 years ago. I'm Kurt, by the way.
So we see that you did not provide a A2 survey. So
There's
was there a reason for that?
There's not one on file at Town Hall. The house was originally built in 1968, so the map that I provided is the one that's on file in Town Hall.
Right. So you really don't know where your boundary is?
The only boundary we could find was for absolute certainty, there's one marking pipe right by the stone wall between our yard and the neighbor that would be closest to the workshop. And I'm pretty sure I found the other pipe at the other end of the stone wall, but in the backyard where all the trees and everything grow, we hunted and could not find anything.
Okay.
There's a line of trees or shrubs that are down what we think is, what we've always considered our property line, and they are always been our shrubs. When we bought the house, they were there. So it gives somewhat of a visual. I mean, the two gentlemen that came, you kind of see the shrub and the shrub line when you look down. So that's what we measured off of to go with for the variance.
Usually some applicants come with an A2 survey, so we know exactly where the property line is. Right now, we're guessing where the property line is.
I don't disagree with that statement, but that was part of the reason why I talked to a surveyor, and he said to me, quite frankly, I'm too busy to do a job this small. He said, but this is an app that I use all the time when I'm trying to do a first look in a ballpark if I'm not 100% sure of where I'm starting. And so I downloaded that app, and then 2 others just to validate whether or not, and all 3 of them gave me the same spot, that circle that I was standing in that you see in the picture. So I used the best tools that I had available without I couldn't find a surveyor who was willing to come. They said it was just not worth their time.
I was up there, I looked at the place, there's plenty of room.
Mike Brown? Mike, I have a question for you.
Mike Brown?
Sure.
Did you, were you the one that denied the permit?
No. I think if they did apply for a permit previously, it was prior to us coming on board.
I don't think we've ever applied for a variance before.
A permit
A permit
to build? What was the process that you went through?
for the workshop?
Mm-hmm.
I went to town hall and I worked with Liz and I filled out all the paperwork that she gave me, and she said the first thing we have to do is get the variance approved. And then if the variance gets approved, then we submit the building permit.
Okay.
Did we not do it in the right order?
I think there's been some confusion.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any comments?
I think there's some issues that need to be before P and Z before ZBA,
Okay.
planning and zoning.
Right. So we did things in the wrong order? Is that what I'm hearing?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Can we?
Okay, what was your date of the permit? Or denial, or?
We haven't applied for a permit because we were told that we had to get the zoning variance approved before we could apply for a building permit.
Mhm.
So if I could just jump in.
Sure.
My suspicion is that when they came to town hall, it looks like the application date was originally in April. So it's, I haven't worked with them or spoken about this directly, but my suspicion is that either previous staff or Liz determined that the location was not compliant with the setbacks, and so rather than submitting an application for a zoning permit to staff, for something that would be denied, they were told to seek the variance, which is fine. There's no obligation that they obtain a permit first and be denied an appeal. If it's an accessory building of this size, then that would be something that would be done just through staff.
Yes, that's what happened.
Okay. Any other questions? Bob, you have any
All
questions
set.
from
I was
anyone?
up there, I looked
Okay.
at it. I have no problem.
Okay, then I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved, Jack Sterry.
Second,
Second, Joe Geisman.
all in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries, the public hearing, you can sit down. Ms. Cole. The application is dated April 14th.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. There's no survey. There's a 65-day rule. Today, we're at about day 60. After 65 days, if nothing's happened, I believe it goes through. I don't,
You don't have that, you have that, you still have time, there's no automatic approval. So if you felt like you couldn't make, you have 65 days to open the hearing, you're opening it today, so you've got 35 to close, which you just did, an additional 65 from today to decide.
okay. So what do you want to do? And there's no survey. We are going by the applicant's word. They could be in, they could be more, they could be less. We don't know.
Well, I think they explained, they put a little buffer in there in case they are off. And your neighbor seems to agree that the line is correct. And I know if I was gonna put a building on my land, I don't think I'd go for a survey. I got a pipe in for me, for my own personal, that'd be close enough.
Okay. So what is the hardship?
The hardship would be the location, for the amount of stuff that's blocking it.
But we don't know the property line, the real property line. It's an assumption.
But
It's,
if the adjacent neighbor, the very
It's-
next door neighbor,
we can't,
agrees with that property line,
Mhm.
I would agree with it.
Do we have anything in writing from a neighbor?
No?
No correspondence. I would make a motion to continue it, so they don't have to reapply.
So there's a motion.
To get a
to
survey,
hold the
so we
public-
know
Mhm.
whether or not,
I can't get one for the survey. No one's interested because it's too small.
So there's a motion to continue the public hearing until there's a survey done.
Excuse me,
Pardon me? There's a motion on the floor to continue the public hearing until a survey is provided. Do I got a second?
Second. Joan. Joan Eastman.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion?
Since when do we have to get a survey for everything? We've heard many other cases without a survey.
Yeah, I think Bob's correct. We've got a lot of applications over the years, and to my
Not
knowledge,
since I've been on the board.
since you've been on the board, it's always a survey.
It's always, yeah, we have a guideline to go, here it is. Are they 25, 35, 45, whatever it is? We're going on an assumption.
Okay.
I'm an accountant by trade.
You're not allowed to speak right now. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor of holding the public hearing open until a survey is provided? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I oppose it.
I oppose it also.
Motion, the vote is 2-3. The motion carries. So at this time, we're gonna hold the application until some type of survey is provided, so we know exactly.
Is that true? I mean, I thought you had to have four votes to approve. I just would
That's a
question
variance.
that.
That's a
Okay.
variance.
All right. No, I just.
So it's
disagree
open.
with it, even though I'm not seated.
So basically, you have to go back to providing some type of a survey or something where we know exactly where the property line is.
So you'd like me to find someone to do a survey, and then you'd like me to resubmit my application? and I
Nope,
pay for that?
nope.
No.
You just come back.
That's why we
within-
left it open.
Within 65 days.
And what happens if I can't find someone in 65 days? So you'll deny us the opportunity to add value to our property and enhance our
Okay,
tax
I'm
base.
I'm just saying what the motion was and what happened. That was the vote. So we're gonna move on. You can talk to planning and zoning about what steps you need to take.
I will, thank you.
Okay.
Someone I should talk to about making sure we do things in the proper order going
I would suggest talking to Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Okay, regular meeting, new business? Seeing none. Old business is the adoption of the minutes. If everyone's looked them over, just need a motion to,
I move that we adopt the minutes from January 27th.
Second? Tax Larry?
all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are accepted. Correspondence was just the quarterly newsletter. Hopefully everybody get a chance to read it. And I don't see anybody from the public here. So, motion to adjourn.
So moved. Jack Sterry?
Second?
Mike Mastrina?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's adjourned at 7:23.